everybody. Yes, so Sargon's cavalry arrived eventually to defend him against my video. Brilliant comment here from a guy called John Doe. Strangely, I don't see Sequester Zone lurking about Andy's comment thread. What's the matter, Sequesti? Too chicken shit to defend a fellow closeted homosexual mangina. Okay, so we have someone here who's a homophobe, not unusual amongst MRAs. Homophobia tends to go quite hand in hand with misogyny. It's funny though, because eventually we also get a gay MRA coming in here, and his argument isn't that I'm a closeted homosexual. He says here, oh, by the way, did you get laid in the end? Is it working? Got an army of horny girls outside your place shouting your name, getting undressed for you? Huh? So, yeah, what's great is these guys clearly don't agree with each other. One of them's a homophobe, and one of them's a homosexual, but it's wonderful, it's heartwarming to know that they are both willing to put aside their differences in their mutual hatred of women and men like me. But what we got here was really bizarre from John Doe. Now this is traits of the male feminist, something that I think he's copied and pasted it from some website or other. Lispy effect voice. There's good science, yeah, I'm sure it's good, amazing science, that shows that today's men are being exposed to greater quantities of female hormones. Among the causes is a contaminated water supply with trace amounts of birth control compounds from women's urine. The mass consumption of soy products, a natural source of estrogen, is another likely culprit. Whatever the origins, there is an epidemic of ostensibly heterosexual men with gay voice, none more clearly than the male feminist, who deliberately takes the bass and manly tone out of his voice so as to not offend. I find it very weird that you think my voice lacks bass. I think one of the things I've been made fun of through most of my life was having quite a deep voice. You know, less so now I'm an adult and everyone around me's voice is broken. But yeah, I remember at school it was I was constantly made fun of for it. When I was at college as well, because I grew up in Merseyside and I went to college in an even further north part of Merseyside, and everyone in Merseyside talks up here like this. So talk up here. Yeah, so you know, might a voice like mine sounds bizarrely low. But yeah, what kind of water do you drink, John? I mean, are you drinking special water that doesn't have birth control compounds, which is turning all of us men into manginas, or mengina, I don't know what the plural of mangina is. Mass consumption of soy products. Yeah, I've heard this argument that eating soy supposedly increases estrogen levels, supposedly turns men into women. Yeah, no real evidence for it. I mean, excuse me while I drink. The other thing is, I think a lot of people, especially people like John Doe, seem to think that only vegetarians eat soy. Soy is in quite a lot of foods, because it's a lecithin, it's an emulsifier and used in a lot of foods. So, you know, it wouldn't just be vegetarians who are consuming soy products and gaining all this extra estrogen. But yeah, number 2, condescending, snarky girl tone and eye rolling. That's quite ironic coming from someone who defends, you know, saying condescending coming from someone who defends Sargon of Akkad. Added to the character of his voice is a patronising, dismissive tone, often with unspeak and vocal fry. No idea what... Oh, so upspeak, sorry, that's a... Upspeak. Don't know what it is, don't really care. Common with obnoxious teenage girls and a certain cross-section of brackets actual gay men. Rather than disagree with an argument on its merits, they sigh through it like Al Gore at a presidential debate. I wasn't aware Al Gore was either gay or a teenage girl, but okay. To make matters worse, he artificially laces his speech with profanity. Artificially as opposed to what? As opposed to naturally. Laces speech with profanity. I don't know what you're supposed to mean by artificially laces speech with profanity, which rather than toughness comes off like a moody girl cussing at her boyfriend. So basically, teenage girls use profanity, gay men use profanity, I use profanity artificially, apparently. Therefore, I am like a teenage girl or a gay man, apparently. That's the argument there. And apparently there's something wrong with being a gay man. Okay. Whatever. Apparently there's something wrong with being female as well, but then we are dealing with a misogynist and a homophobe here. That shouldn't surprise anyone. 3. Slovenly appearance featuring a vegan-style beard. Now, let's just note here, an MRA is accusing me of having a slovenly appearance and is criticising my beard, which I don't actually have. I have sideburns. I don't have a beard. The uniform of the male feminist is a non-threatening cocktail of emasculating hipster wear with an unkempt beard, the badge of today's weak guy. Bear in mind, this is an MRA accusing me of having an unkempt beard. An MRA. Let's just all think about that for a minute. And anything else that makes it patently obvious he never hits the gym and poses no danger whatsoever to anything. I don't know what to say to this thing about I never hit the gym. This is coming from MRAs. This is coming from people whose idea of exercise is lifting up a bag of crisps. I suppose I could just do a video of me lifting weights or something stupidly macho like that to try and debunk that point. That would be sort of falling into this silly trap there, really, wouldn't it? I sort of feel a bit like Meth Evan did when that guy, that idiot, was trying to challenge him to a fight, and he just said, well, let's find a martial arts tournament, somewhere near to where I live, and we can, fight it out, without the fear of any legal consequences. So there's a fair bit of projection going on there. Okay. 4. Parrot's word salad of incoherent feminist talking points. The male feminist repeats all of the made-up jargon of the hysterical feminist, science fiction sounding utterances like cisgender and sex positive. How does that sound like science fiction? Because it's words you don't understand. Therefore it's like science fiction. You keep saying made up jargon. All words are made up ultimately. All words aren't found in nature. We construct them. Language is a construct. They also participate in the misappropriation and abuse of once sound useful English language words like consent, patriarchy and privilege. Okay, how were these words once sound? I mean, what does consent actually mean, as opposed to how feminists use it? You think patriarchy once had a genuine meaning? That's interesting, because patriarchy is the thing that anti-feminists blather on about the most, about how it doesn't exist, and they constantly try and misrepresent it as something other than what it's supposed to mean. And privilege, what does privilege really mean, other than the way feminists use it? Okay, and number 5 here, rape alarmist. Like any lockstep feminist, the male feminist drops the rape card several times in any discussion, irrespective of subject, like the word smurf in the 80s cartoon. The word rape is slowly being eroded of meaning by its catch-all use for anything and everything. The goal of this repeated invocation is to further whip up an exaggerated hysteria around rape, make everyone believe there's a rapist on every corner, and make it sound like everyone's whispering rape jokes when women aren't looking. I can count on one hand how many rape jokes I've heard in my entire life and still have enough fingers left to stimulate the clitoris of a pixie cut wearing female-bodied individual. So, yeah. You'd rather we didn't talk about rape. Okay, I wonder why that is. Hint, hint. Okay. 6. Enabling feminist hysteria by providing excuses for bigoted behaviour and by demanding that others also walk on eggshells. According to this guy and all feminists, it's okay to be permanently scared of men. If you've ever been victimised by them, however real or imagined that victimisation may have been, or if it's imagined it didn't happen, you idiot, by this rationale, I can permanently remain apprehensive and have fear of black people as a category because I was once robbed at gunpoint by a black guy. Furthermore, he excuses feminist hate speech as simple making fun of you, not to be taken seriously, while simultaneously labelling anything said by the opposing side as 100% serious hate speech. Oh my god. I mean, I don't think anyone It's the sort of thing we'd be permanently scared of men. Not least me, otherwise I'd be permanently scared of myself. Anyway, moving on. 7. False veneer of intellectualism and academic grounding. Now, the thing is, MRAs don't accept academia. They reject it. They think academia has been corrupted by some kind of feminist conspiracy. So, why do you care whether I'm trying to sound academic or not? I'm not an academic. I've never claimed to be. I'll put that out there right now. I'm not putting up any kind of false veneer of academic. I know to someone as stupid as you, I must come across as a fucking genius, but really not the case. To lend some kind of legitimacy to his specious, problematic logic, he cites oblique, academic-sounding references in a poorly constructed strawman argument about what men's rights advocates use to prove the existence of misandry. He engages in the typically feminist mental acrobatics that, when it's all said and done, have turned night into day, made up into down, and rendered men into women. God, this is boring as hell. This is so boring, but I'm going to carry on because I've started solving it. Like any outsider turned convert to a religion, feminism isn't a religion. Things that aren't religions, by the way, are not religions. That's why they're not called. That's why they're not religions. That's why we say they're not religions. It's really stupid to just try and put everything you don't like into the religion box, just so you can focus all your hatred onto one thing. The male feminist is always more radical and dangerous to the non-believer. If, like many men, you have the misfortune to have to be around them, tread carefully. Always looking to prove his loyalty, the male feminist will do everything in his power to cut down a confident masculine man. That's presumably Sargon. Sargon is presumably a confident masculine man, fabricating stories, running to the authorities, and anything else to throw you under bus or to hopefully score a few points with his female overlords. So basically, I'm gay, but I also want to fuck women. That makes sense.
Fucking feminist system!